Number 5, we got Brat. It's not a 10. Hold your horses. But it's an 8.8 in my opinion. Hello everybody and welcome back to For the Record. This is going to be my first video back in some time, but yeah, so 2024 is wrapped up. It's been wrapped up for a bit, but I'm going to give you guys my top 10 songs and top 10 albums of 2024. So it should be fun. Should be a nice, easy, breezy video. It's yeah, catching up. What do I need to catch you guys up on? Oh yeah, plans for 2025. I say this in a video that I'm going to drop after this one, but I want to do some Twitch streams of live album reactions for any big releases that come out this year. So I think that should be fun. If any of you guys have any pointers or know how to work Twitch or whatever, I've never streamed before, but I think I love reacting to music, and I think I would be a pretty vibrant character, I guess you could say, and that could be something to spice up the content output that I can provide for you guys. And yeah, so I think that would be fun. Next order of business, what else do I need to do? I mean, I touch on it in the like I said, I'm recording 2 videos at a time. This is the first time that I'm actually scheduling myself well, I guess you want to say, not necessarily just doing a video at a time, but yeah, I'm on the grind. All right, this is gonna be one of my top priorities now, because I have a lot of time on my hands, and better do it now than when I have to go off to college, because then content will slow down and then it might pick up back again, because I'll maybe find some free time to incorporate it into my college schedule, but wherever I end up at, still waiting to hear back from a few schools. So I'll let you guys know once I hear about the plans for that. But without further ado, enough of me rambling. Let's get into these top 10 songs and albums. Oh yeah, I guess we have some rules. 1 song per artist, and I had to listen to the song. And I guess you could say it had to come out in 2024. Other than that, pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Let's go. Number 10, we have Luther. Whoa. We have Luther by Kendrick Lamar featuring SZA. I have 3 bullet points that I think are my favorite things about the song. By far, SZA's and Kendrick's chemistry on the song is immaculate. The vocal harmonies are super fun. The way they swell up with the production but stay laid back at the same time just makes for an amazing pop banger. And it is just a vibe at the end of the day. They're not really saying anything crazy. It's just a good love song, good chemistry back and forth going at it. The Luther Vandross sample is impeccable, fits so well into the production. And I was originally kind of sour on this song because I was watching Anthony Fantano's live stream, and he said that's better than any melodic cut off of Damn. And if you guys know me, Damn is my favorite album of all time, Kendrick genre, Kendrick or not, of all time. And I think people or at least Fantano overestimates how many melodic cuts there are on Damn, at least melodic cuts like this. So I was originally kind of biased towards this song, but the more I listened to it, I was he is kind of right. It is better than the melodic cuts, but I think what I consider the melodic cuts off of Damn is different than him, because I only really think there's 3 ones that are in the realm of this, and it would be Loyalty, but that's kind of the in the middle one because the drums are super hard hitting and it's got Rihanna rapping on it. It's not really melodic in my opinion. And then God is melodic. This is Luther's definitely better than God. And then Love, and I think Love is a really good song. Obviously I love it a lot, but I would say Luther's better. I think I like it better. I like SZA's feature over Zakari's feature. Not to say that it's bad, but yeah, I see Fantano's perspective after further listening. Next up, we got number 9. We have Make Friends by Hiatus Coyote. I don't know if you guys would think I would listen to these to this group, but I love their. I think it dropped in 2015. Choose Your Weapon. That album is near flawless to me. If not, like it's almost. I would say it's close to a perfect album. But Fantano gave it a 5. Sorry, Anthony's on the brain, but I'm gonna stop bringing him up. This is my list. But yeah, this song is great. Super simplistic. I think that honestly might be my favorite thing about it. They normally are known for their pretty wild production, a lot of like real like electronic neo soul elements, but still feels like it has a live instrumentation, like a live instrument feel to it as well. But this one is just like it's super listenable, nice and funky, good soundscape, and shoot, I'm blanking on what's the front woman's name of this band? Naya, I think. Fact check me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong, but her vocals on this are insane, like super good, cut right through the space perfectly, and song has an overall pretty good message. I want you to recognize me, talking about like just like how you meet people and how you become friends with people. It's not like you recognize them. It's not, you don't make friends. You like build a relationship sort of a deal. So great song. Definitely check it out if you haven't heard it. Next up at number 8, we have Too Bad by Bruiser Wolf featuring Z Loopers and Danny Brown. This song is insane. I was spamming the heck out of this song at the beginning of the year. Charisma off the chain. The beat is insane. Samples has the same sample as One Train, which I think is funny because I don't even know if I've heard One Train in full. I'm not a huge A$AP Rocky listener, so call me crazy. Why do you have a music channel and you haven't heard One Train? I'll get to it at some point. Trust me, I've heard bits and pieces of it. But I just think it's funny that I know I associate that sample with this song rather than One Train, which will probably be crazy to some people. But yeah, Bruiser Wolf, holy crap, like he is so funny, and just like the delivery of his like E40 but like Detroit, it's like insane. And then you have Z Loopers opening the track, and I love his voice so much, and then Danny Brown's feature is super good, and it's like a club song. Like the beat it acts as like a club song, but it's like alternative rap music. So I love that about it. I love any quirky, weird dance music that you can dance to. Like it's not one that is going to get played in the club, but if it did, I would go crazy. So not that I go to a club or anything like that, but you get the gist. Moving on. Number 7. This one is honestly kind of in the same vein. I mean, I did kind of sneak away with putting Z Loopers in the list twice, but he was a feature on the other song. This is his song and Zach Fox's song. I don't know. I didn't see which one was listed as a feature, but they're both on the song nonetheless. But funny lines on top of funny lines in this. So many quotables. So many just like one-liners, witty bars. And the delivery of them is like insane. They breathe. It's like they don't give you time to breathe on this song, but they just deliver blow after blow after blow, and it's like, and it fits so well with the beat. As you see, I say beat like bricks. It's like a huge brick hitting you in the face. Like doesn't slow down, doesn't really go anywhere that isn't what you hear in the first 5 seconds. And sometimes that could be to the detriment of the song. It is to the benefit of this song. Love playing this in the car. The flow is immaculate. Like, and they're going back and forth too. It's like the raunchy rap version of what SZA and Kendrick were doing, but it's Z Loopers and Zach Fox. Not necessarily in a love song, but like I said, like just crazy. Like it's so wild and it's so replayable. Like I don't get bored of this song. Yeah, I have nothing else to say about that song. It's not, I don't think it's going to be for everybody, but if you are a rap fan, listen to this song. You won't get sick of it. At number 6, we have Nissan Ultima by Doechii. This one was an instant favorite. As soon as I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, she is going. The flow is my favorite thing about this song. The way that she comes in the first few lines, just like she rips it, absolutely rips the verse. She has incredible confidence on the track. Like, you believe everything that she's saying, whether it's just like dumb fun or it's like she's talking that stuff, you know what I'm saying? And she provides good moments on it, especially in the second verse, where the song kind of is like, could seem like it would be a one-trick pony, but then she cuts the beat out and then she put the mother in my mother hands. I'm in Gucci and I'm in, and then she also has like the don't you the Lulu, you a little screw, yeah, and like just really really good for a crowd atmosphere, really hype song. As you can tell, I love hype music. I know I've had the first two songs were kind of on the chiller side, but if you got a nasty flow, you sound good on the beat, and you're saying stuff that will either make me laugh, get me hype, or contemplate about life itself, then you got me. So Doechii did at least one of those three things, if not more. Nissan Ultima, if you haven't heard it, check it out. Doechii's had an incredible year and is going to continue having an incredible year in 2025. Moving on, we got Brett, number 5, 365 by Charlie XCX. This is my favorite off the Brat album. Super catchy, and my favorite thing is like in the context of the album, you start with 360 and then you end with 365. Perfect bookends, and obviously the production is off the chain. The first drop when the synths, I'm not even gonna try to replicate them, but perfect. Wouldn't change a thing about the song. I don't listen to music like this all that much, even though I like when it's incorporated in rap music. I'm gonna dive into the Charlie catalog at some point because I love this album a lot. Little teaser for the albums list right there. But yeah, 365 is probably my favorite. I also love the 3 extra tracks that she put on, and I wasn't a huge fan of like the remix album. I have to listen to it again. I think I only really listened to it like twice all the way through. Some of the songs were just kind of letdowns. Like I love Caroline Polachek's music, and the song "Everything Is Romantic" I was originally gonna put "Everything Is Romantic" as my favorite song off of Brat and in this list, but I don't know why I changed it. I think this one is just more impactful, and like I said, within the context of the album, is perfect the way it just fits in and little remix action. But the Caroline Polachek version, I was like, oh, I wanted to hear her on the hard hitting like Brazilian funk beat. I thought that would have been crazy, but they slowed it down a little bit. It's a little bit more scenic, but whatever. You win some, you lose some. It's just me. I've heard some people that really like it though. 365 at 5. Moving on, number 4, we got Cineo by JPEGMAFIA. The video that will be coming out after this is this is going to be a little bit of a preview of that, but this is like if someone manufactured a JPEGMAFIA song for me. Like, I love that the first point exactly. Hard but fun. It's like he takes the most obnoxious sounds to, I think, like the average music listener that like if they were put into like, if Kanye, no, I don't want to say Kanye, but if like a super, super mainstream artist, JPEG has a really big fan base, but like he takes sounds that I feel like if other people were to even have the capacity to use them, it would sound like the most obnoxious piece of crap like anyone had ever put on a track. But JPEG is such a talented producer. He just knows how to use it. And although it's super hard hitting, it's like not obnoxious or too abrasive, too aggressive to the point where it's like, my ears, what am I listening to? It's like the way it's orchestrated, the way it's structured, he makes it into like this, at least in the first part, I think in the third section of the song, which is also why I have progression on here. I guess I would replace that with structure, but progression nonetheless, kind of similar words. I love that he's able to make it like a danceable song with all this craziness going on there, and then you have like the real banging rock section with the guitars going crazy. And then I also love the Hoochie Mama sample. I think there's multiple samples in this song, but the Hoochie Mama one is the main one. You hear it right as the song starts. Big booty hoes, I'm with it. Oh my god! And I saw this song live. It was incredible. Great energy. Love you, JPEG. Moving on. Number 3, we have the Third Coast by Tizo Touchdown. This was in my Spotify Wrapped. And like that third point, replayability. Like you don't get bored of this song either. The blending of production in this song, excuse me. I originally put like beat changes, but blending of production I think is a little bit of a better way to put it, because all of this has like a live feel to it, and that's probably like one of my favorite things, like production wise in rap music, is when you can incorporate live instrumentation. Not everything has to be trap or electronic music. Sounds like it's programmed, because you could have like a flute sound, but it doesn't sound like someone's actually playing the flute into the track. This doesn't do that. It's got nice chunky bass line. It does have like just programmed music elements to it, but I could see this being played live. So like with none of that really incorporated into the song. Also, Tizo just has incredible track presence. Makes anything sound like his own, even though if it seems like he's borrowing from something that has already really been done. He's just such a talented vocalist that it's like he can do everything, and he makes it sound different than what it's inspired by or what he's grabbing from. There's only a few artists that I think I listen to that really can do that for me. It's Tizo, it's Cineo. I'm slowly getting into D'Angelo, but he's kind of in the same realm for me. And I want to say that there's someone else, but I'm also slowly getting into their catalog as well. But Sly and the Family Stone. Sly is like who and what and where and why, but like all 4 of those people I think are such talented vocalists. They make simple stuff sound so unique, and it's just hard to describe in that sense, which I think is what Tizo does on this song, Third Coast. My favorite section would probably be the third part. I think that's pretty much a consensus. The middle part is the longest section, but I mean, creeping, looking thirsty, promise you want her, man. Like that's just, it's perfect. It's perfect. No one's doing it like Tizo. Can't wait to hear his new album come out. Moving on, we got the boy from the Bay. He made Scrapyard. Quadeca with Kevin Abstract on Texas Blue, the outro to his album Scrapyard. Yeah, like I said, live instrumentation. The effing flute on this thing, oh my goodness. Just like the swells of sound with the strings, the piano in the beginning, the Charlie Brown piano. Like, oh my goodness. No one is doing it like this. No one is doing it like him in this way. Just like crazy all around. And him and Kevin, I've never really gotten into the Brockhampton stuff that much. I've been put onto a couple of songs, but this is definitely gonna make me want to dive into Kevin Abstract's music a lot more. And I have vocal utilization on here. I know it's probably not like a real term, but because they don't really harmonize a lot, I want to say. I think a lot of the layered vocals are quads vocals in the background when Kevin is kind of like rapping a little bit, but so it's like the placement of the vocals that I think really shines here, and it's some of Quad's vocals in the background are almost like placed as like, I don't want to say counter melodies, but they're like just like sound effects, brief. They're baked into the production almost like a sample would, but yeah, I think vocal utilization would be the best way for me to describe that. Super good song. I think this was I was so mad that this wasn't in my Spotify rap, but I'm not going to get mad at myself. And then the third point, coining a new term, all wall, a lot with a little, lyrically. This is kind of like an up for your own interpretation kind of a song, but there are lines that hit hard, and like you don't really have to like they're super simple. Like how is someone not really thought of this? And it's like very, I want to say introspective in a way, because it's like, am I complex to you? It's very like questionative, but it's like to another person. Um, but also it makes you like look within yourself at the same time. At least that's what it does for me. But my favorite part of this song, and part of it is like they cut the beat, but it's like just hard like acoustic guitars. Um, is what will it take to get you down? That silent treatment gets a little loud. Like Kevin kills that part, and like that silent treatment gets a little loud. Perfect line. Like that's what I'm saying. A lot with a little. Like it's not really. It makes you think about it, but it's like super simplistic, like phrasing. So definitely, if you haven't checked this out, check it out. No one's doing it like Quad. Super excited for Vanisher. That if that comes out, I think I saw people speculate that it's set to come out in February. We haven't gotten a release date yet, so I'm not putting any false information out there. But if that is the first big release or release that I want to listen to, that will be definitely of interest on the Twitch stream. Number 1 though, we have Cry For Me by Magdalena Bay. This, I don't even have words to describe how much I love this song. I put it on my personal Instagram story, which I'm now including in the intro of my videos. So go follow me if you want. I don't really post anything super interesting. I just kind of mess around on there. Mainly some concert videos. I also think that would be fun. I don't have a portable camera. Obviously, I'm just recording this on my MacBook camera, so that's probably why the quality looks pretty bad. But if I do invest and get a camera, I could vlog concerts. That's how a lot of channels like this, I think, started out, and I think that'll be fun. Meet new people, get them to follow my channel and stuff. So let me know if that would be of interest for you guys. I'm actually going to Kendrick Lamar. I don't have pit tickets for either of these, but I'm going to see Kendrick and SZA on their tour, and then I'm also going to see Tyler on his tour. Even though I just saw him at Flognaw, but he's coming to Raleigh, so it's like, why not just go? So, and it was a Christmas gift, so shout out my mammy. But anyway, back to the song Cry For Me, Magdalena Bay. Musical journey, sets the tone super well. Good like pacing, good sounds, good everything. And then the switch up, the way the vocals come in, it's like the end of the freaking world. Like, this is that kind of song. Like, just the way they fall in, it feels like stuff is just falling and around you, and it's like destruction, but like beauty at the same time. So the melody and just like the layered vocals there are great, but then like all along there was a story. I don't really know the words. I know the words, but like I forget how she says them. Spare me of your allegories, please. Just that melody. I was so monotone right there. This is why I don't make music. Yeah, I mess around on Logic every now and then, but never mind that. Just that melody, and then the delivery when she's really hitting home, like really straining her vocals. Yeah, share another kiss that lasts forever. Think of love when you remember me. Like, come on. I mean, I didn't do it justice, but listen to the song and you will understand what I'm talking about. And then third point, I could just put production at large, but the strings on this song get me every single time. I've gone through their whole catalog at this point. I think I only haven't listened to Mini Mixes 3, but I've listened to all their albums. They use strings so well. Shout out to Matt. I know Mika does a production. Whoever does the strings between the two of you, good freaking work. That is like Secrets, I think, is the song on Mercurial World. Holy crap. Like, it is so good. They use strings to a T. I think I think I might make this into a video, but I want to say I need to broaden my genre horizon a little bit. But I want to do like favorite production element by genre. Pop music easily is strings. If you use strings right in a pop song, you are gonna you're gonna have For the Record as a fan. That's all I'm gonna say. Cry for Me, song of the year, absolute banger. We're moving on to top 10 albums of 2024. Obviously, I mean, Future dropped multiple albums this year. Spoiler, he's not gonna be in my top 10, but not a whole lot of people drop multiple albums a year, so didn't include that rule. But obviously, I had to listen to the album, had to drop in 2024. Without further ado, let's get right into it. We have Bright Future by Adrian Lenker. I include the genre as well if any of you are curious on and haven't heard these records before. But folk singer-songwriter album, first endeavor into Adrian Lenker. I've heard her name get thrown around a lot. I've heard that one single that I think was big on TikTok for a little while. 8.5 out of 10, which I think might be considered low for people that really, well, obviously it'll be considered low for people that love this album, but I don't normally listen to music like this, and I think I'm going to have to live with this album a lot more, because generally speaking, I'm not really a sad person. I don't have a bright, like, emotional outburst kind of personality or anything like that. But generally speaking, I'm not, even though if I look pretty neutral, straight-faced, I'm not sad or anything. Like, I don't know. I feel like my parents, whatever. My mom always thinks I'm, like, just so mellow. I'm so one level. But I'm not depressed. But this song will make you depressed. Not this song. This album will make you depressed. The first time I listened to it was on a plane ride. I almost broke down on the freaking plane. I almost like stopped listening to the album. I was like, I gotta like stay away. But that doesn't undermine the greatness of it. Beautiful songwriter. Like I said, I didn't spend a whole lot of time with this, but I can't like go without saying how great this is. I was very close to putting Why Laud by Anderson .Paak and Knowledge, No Worries, the No Worries project. But I crammed that in at like the last point of the year, and I only really listened to it once all the way through. I put it off for so long, and people were continually saying like it was underrated and stuff. And so I eventually gave it a listen, and I loved it. But so yeah. I didn't include it because I didn't spend as much time with it. This, however, I think my favorite song off this album would probably be between No Machine and Don't It Seem. Those rhyme, I guess. A lot of people really like the song Sadness Is a Gift as well. But I can't listen to it because it's not who I am as a person that much. But if you like sad music, this is where it's at. Trust me on it. You'll like it. Just go. I know this is kind of a weird spot to do it, but I think I'll link the full list of my whole album rankings from 2024. But I already went over Adrian Lenker's album, so sorry for the clutteriness. Actually, I'll just do it at the end. I'll do some honorable mention shoutouts for both albums and songs, because I didn't do it for songs at all, and I'm not gonna. Let's keep the consistency going. Moving on, number 9 of Dark Times by Vince Staples. So much for me saying that I don't listen to sad music. This album isn't really sad, but it does have some like really emotional songs on it. Vince, such a talented rapper. It was so funny. I saw him at I'm not super well versed in his catalog, but I saw him at Flognaw, and he was like, y'all want to hear some, do y'all really like that real shit? He inserted a word in between real and shit that I can't say. But he said it, I didn't cheer the first time, and then he said it again, and I was like, you know what? I'm at a concert, I'm going to have a good time. So I cheered, and then he was like, and then after that, he was like, y'all stupid. And I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, you had to bait it. And he was like, but crowd, bunch of white people saying they about that real shit. And I was like, oh, no. He got us. You got us. Vince is so funny. I mean, he's like, that's like an internet thing. Like, Vince is so funny without even trying, but it truly is. Like, Vince is the man. Um, One of my favorite shows that like if I had to separate like the festival like by sets that I saw, probably one of the best. Like, his energy was great. I kind of combined crazy and great there. I coined a new phrase. But to Dark Times, super emotional production on it. I think my favorite song of this album will probably be Black and Blue. Love, and the reason being because I love the Sacred Soul sample in my 2023 albums ranking. You saw that how big of a fan I was of their album from that year. So it's cool to hear that the song "Weak for Your Love." Love that song as it is, but it's flipped really good in the song off of Vince's album. Government Cheese. The drums on this album super good, and yeah, Vince just really like has great pen game, cool delivery, and all throughout. I mean, good storytelling tracks on here too. I believe it's Lil Homie. I could be messing up the titles of the songs, but super consistent album. Really no filler on here. I think Child's Play is another cut that I really like. Has the broken guitar sounds in there. Etouffee, I think is, you know which one I'm talking about. Etouffee is a kind of pasta, but what El Touffee, I don't know. Whatever that song is, that one is like the big hit off of this album for a very good reason. Good song to just like have on, and it's like a strange vibe. Like, his vocals really aren't at the forefront of the song, but they provide so much to the track. You definitely go check it out if you haven't heard Dark Times by Vince Staples. At number 8, we have Alligator Bites Never Heal by Doechii. Doechii, like I said, having an amazing year. She just has style on top of style on top of style. Like, she like stylistically, like the way that she raps, not so much, but she just gives me Outkast vibes. Just like the way she markets herself and her personality, everything about her, like just. And she's from Florida. Outkast is based in Atlanta. Pretty close. Just like, it has something to do with like that southern hip hop connection. And I think Doechii is just part of that to a T. She is the culture right now. Like, if you're not listening to Doechii, go listen to her. I know this is technically a mixtape, but I'm including it in the albums because it was just so freaking good. Denial is a River is kind of getting burned to the ground for me a little bit, but never mind that. It's still a good song. Just kind of heard it a lot. But you also have songs like Bullfrog, Catfish. You have songs like, I even love the melodic cuts on here, like Huh. She's kind of doing like a more new age rap thing where she's not really saying a lot lyrically, but she's saying, but she's just kind of vibing on the track, experimenting with her voice a little bit more. And what's Skip? That's kind of got like some neo soul vibes to it. It has like a lot of bass in it, but I like the progression of that track. For as much as this is just kind of like a bite-sized portion of, I think, what Doechii is capable, those bite-sized pieces are like 5-star appetizers. You know what I'm saying? And it's a mixtape for a reason. You have Boom Bap, which is an absolute anthem. Like, Doechii, absolutely incredible. Style is on 10. Great record. 8.6 out of 10. I know I didn't really acknowledge the rating for the previous ones, but moving on. Number 7, we have The New Sound by Jordy Greep. Kind of crammed this album in towards the end, but yeah, I already know I'm going to listen to this a lot more in 2025. I mean, I think that this is like, I don't want to say my guilty pleasure because I'm not afraid to say that I like listening to him, but I think the most unexpected artist that people wouldn't guess I'm a fan of, I wouldn't say huge because he just has so much music put out, but I love Frank Zappa. And this gives me the closest, it's not like a one-to-one comparison, but closest thing to like new aged Zappa-isms in music. And forgive me if I like wrongly categorize the genres on some of these people. I put avant-garde rock for him. Some people could say alternative, whatever have you. Avant-garde could be more like, I don't know, like strange, I guess you could say, because this also experiments with like some samba stuff, like dance melodies. Like it's all over the place in terms of construction, instrumentation, and stuff. But I mean, I think this is the closest description that I could get to without sounding like super crazy. But yeah, super versatile. I love his track presence. It's super theatrical, but not to the point where it's super corny. Holy Holy, one of my favorite songs of the year. Yeah, just I have to live with this album more to give it its deserving praise. But as of this moment, I'm at an 8.7 with it. And I think it was funny. I'm just glazing Fantano at this point. But I saw his interview with Jordy. And I've never listened to any of their Black Midi material. This is my first endeavor into anything that he's ever done, regardless of the band or not. And I was so surprised to hear how he speaks. Where does this dude's baritone come from? Like he had such like a grandiose voice, and like it was like belting out these like extreme proclamations on this album, but he's just kind of like this like shrill little Englishman, and I'm like, it's so funny to hear him talk. And that's not to knock him or anything like that. Seems like a cool dude. And I also thought what was cool was that he said Fantano brought up like the playing of a character thing on this album, and because he like points out a lot of stuff about like toxic masculinity and just like overall like brash like caricatures, said that right, and archetypes of like certain people. I mean, the album cover kind of is a good representation of that. It's like a quirky little love story album, like over romanticizing, over fantasizing stuff in relationships, not just like the people themselves, but like literal happenings, like emotional struggles and stuff. And he was like, oh yeah, I think that's cool that people think it's like a character, and like not to say that he stands by that stuff. He is pointing them out and like digging in deeper and like showing like why these things are wrong or like need to be looked at or examined in like a closer eye, sort of a deal. And he was like, he said like his goal of this album was to be able to be able to make something that's unique, but also just be able for people to listen to it, like in the background, go about their everyday life, just kind of experiencing the music, not really having to think too much about it, which I thought was interesting. And it kind of gives me a new perspective on the album when I am listening to it. Just kind of be free with it, and let the music live with you, you know. So I thought that was cool. Can't wait to get into Black Midi stuff. Moving on, number 6, we have the man Kendrick frickin' Lamar with GNX, West Coast tribute album by Kendrick for the West Coast. Shout out to or not shout out, I guess, but prayers up for people in LA dealing with the wildfires and stuff. Rough scene out there. But Kendrick, he is not your savior, but he is a damn good artist and put on for the West Coast for sure. Squabble Up, amazing track. Loved it when the snippet first dropped. Luther, like I said, was in my top 10 songs. It like just the energy on this album, reincarnated. Like I know we said in Whacked Out Murals this isn't about a double entendre, but he like the multi-perspective rapping, like he is just too good to not make people like think about his at least one song on an album. And it is kind of a Tupac tribute. He's rapping over a Tupac beat, but like it's just, I don't, like he's the best doing it. He is probably the greatest rapper of all time. Can't wait to see him perform at the Super Bowl. Can't wait to see him perform live. Like, this is just a fun album. You just gotta feel the music at the end of the day. Are there any other tracks that underrated tracks? Whacked Out Murals, probably top 3, I want to say, on this album for me. I've been listening to that a lot recently. Yeah, Kendrick really did it with this album. Love his goofy inflections, especially on like GNX. I know people say that's a miss on the album, but it's just dumb fun at the end of the day. Like, wah. Have you ever been a joint and you know it? But, in terms of Kendrick albums, though, I think this falls it's on a similar level of Section 80. Like, I don't think Kendrick has dropped a bad album in his entire career. There could be an argument for Overly Dedicated, but that's a mixtape, and it's very early Kendrick, but there is still, like, really good songs on there, but there are some misses, like, a few misses on there, I would probably say. But, yeah, like, this dude has been flawless up until this point. And I would say I had Mr. Morale over this, and Damn, T-Pab, GKMC are all 10s in my opinion. So I don't think this comes close to that in terms of Kendrick's catalog, but 8.7 I think is a good rating for it. Still absolute banger. Like, super impactful project. Shout out Kendrick. Number 5, we got Brat. It's not a 10. Hold your horses. But it's an 8.8 in my opinion. Like I said, I don't necessarily listen to this type of music specifically, but Brat is such a huge project. I had to listen to it, and I loved it. I mean, I think some of the way that some of the songs are structured, like Von Dutch, I know it's like a really big banger off the album. A lot of people like it, but I think it just doesn't really go anywhere. It stays kind of one note the whole time. But love the 3 extra songs on there. A lot of songs are super catchy. I think about it all the time. For example, that's one of the more chill songs on there, but it's still, like, her vocals are amazing. And overall, like, she doesn't really miss a mark on here, I think. There's just some minor qualms that I have with it that kind of pile on top of one another, where I'm just not going to listen to a song like this on an everyday basis. But yeah, for the most part, it's just, like, super fun. You can be in your feels if you want to, or you could just go to a club and sweat tour. Troye Sivan, shout out. Brat Summer was amazing, and that's all I really have to say. Like, it's Brat. Like, Brat is just a great project. If you don't like it, then that's your fault, I guess. Number 4, we have Chromacopia by Tyler, the Creator. I won't spend a whole lot of time on it because I just did his whole discography thing in I guess, I don't want to say tribute, but in honor of him dropping this album, so I thought I'd do a little Tyler video. But yeah, great album. Stuck with me throughout the whole year, at least throughout the period of time when it dropped. Love seeing it live at Flog. Just, yeah, great feature placements. Great production. No one's doing it like Tyler on a mainstream level, is all I'll say, in terms of production quality and, like, song concepts. But yeah, in terms of his catalog, obviously you saw where I had it at, but very, very good project. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Moving on, number 3. I was so tedious on, like, making sure I had everything on the slideshow right, but I messed up. Here's what happens when you guys don't double check. But number 3, in my review, and I mentioned it in the video that I'm gonna drop tomorrow, but not tomorrow, but after this one comes out. My energy in that video, the JPEG album review, was so bad. I honestly might delete that video, but, well, you gotta live with your L's, people. But never mind myself. Let's pay attention to JPEG. I knocked it down 0.3 points. I don't go back to the, like, cuts more towards the end of the album as much. They're still great, but yeah, they haven't really, like, I haven't really been reinvigorated, like had a new they just kind of like died down a little bit for me. That's not to say that they're not good. That's not to say that they're not better than half of the stuff that's dropping in the rap scene, but I still give it a 9.2. What do you want me to say? But JPEG, incredible production, front to back, doesn't really miss a mark. Has a lot of stuff that hits hard on this album. Has a lot of good chiller cuts. What I'll Be Right There, super cool track. Like just sonically, the palette on there is crazy. Like it's so consistent. It's undescribable. No one's doing it like JPEG. It keeps you on your toes every single time. You don't know where a track is gonna go. And it's an exciting album listening. This was probably, I want to say, this was definitely my favorite first album reaction. I was so excited when this album dropped. And I was so excited when I was listening to it for the first time. I immediately loved it, stuck with me, even though if some tracks kind of fell out of the rotation a little bit more than others. But like I said, better than half of the stuff that's dropping this year. Better than probably 75% of the stuff that's dropping, like in general. JPEG is such a once in a lifetime artist, generational talent. Got nothing else to say about it. Proud to be a white JPEGMAFIA fan. Like everybody. No, I'm just playing. Just kidding. But I mean, it's kind of true. Moving on, we have number dos, Scrapyard by Quadeca. Now, like I said, JPEG, no one's doing it like Tyler is on a mainstream level. No one is doing it like JPEG in terms of the rap genre. No one is doing like Quadeca, period. Like, I Didn't Mean to Haunt You and Scrapyard, one of a kind projects. I've been going through like Rate Your Music and like looking up what genre Quadeca is like considered, like at least his new music, because you can't really pinpoint what it is. It's so singular. And like he obviously has his influences. Like I know a lot of people compare him to Conor Oberst. I think I watched the Hive Mind live stream of them watching this album, and they said something Johnson, Daniel Johnson, I think, on like one of the sadder songs on here. Really, like you see the influences, you see it, but he mashes them all together, and it makes something completely new, something super fresh. There are some cuts on here that I don't return to as often, especially like Being Yourself or Way Too Many Friends. I know Way Too Many Friends had a music video for it, but I think like the Friends, like the big shout at the end is a little bit corny. Wasn't a huge fan of that. But other than that, this has one of my favorite songs of all time, and You Don't Know Me Like That. And also, please forgive me if experimental rap, singer-songwriter, and I included psychedelic indie rock, because there is, like, What's It To Him is a rock song. Like, it's got rock production on it. I didn't want to say shoegaze, because I think, or folktronica, which I think is what I Didn't Mean to Haunt You is considered. I think there was less electronic elements to this album, and there was more live feel to it. But the tone of the guitars, like in Dust Cutter even, were a lot softer than I think I would say than just straight up psychedelic rock. But like I said, it's not just these genres on song by song by song. He fuses them together on the same song. Like, Even If I Tried has like a cloud rap section. In the same song, there's also a bossa nova bridge. Like, what the heck? No one is doing it like Quadeca is. So some people can't really get with the vocals that much, and I can understand that to a certain degree, but just live with the music a little bit. Trust me, it's super unique. It's just like what is unique to us is just normal to him at the end of the day, and I think that's just what speaks to the talent that he is as a producer and his ear for certain sounds. And I can't wait for Vanisher to drop. Just Like, even the songs that are more kind of simplistic, like easier, he's kind of getting in like his Frank Ocean bag just a tiny bit, but like he puts a rap verse on it, and it's like, oh my goodness. And like, guess who? That's kind of like more of just a straight up hard hitting rap track, but he puts hella distortion on the second part of the beat. It makes it hit super super hard, and like the way the snares like just like creep through the production a little bit, like they seep in, and it's super super sonically just sound interesting. Texas Blue, like a lot of these tracks dropped in 2023 with the series like of EPs that he put out. So You Don't Know Me Like That is probably my favorite song off this album, but Texas Blue is my favorite one that was new on the project. Like A La Carte, the bass line on that, what, like, I could go on and on about this album. Like, super good. Don't even know how to describe it, which is probably one of my favorite things about it. 9.4 out of 10. Let's move on. Imaginal Disc. Number 1 album of the year. 9.6 out of 10. New wave, synth pop album. First time hearing them, and now I've heard all their music. At least on Spotify. Every song is good. And intriguing, and interesting, and exciting. All killer, no filler. You feel like you're in space. You feel like you're out of body experience. You feel like you're tripping balls. You feel like you're doing all this stuff. You feel like you're seeing what the government is hiding from you when listening to this album. It is a journey. It is probably one of the most musically rich albums that I've heard in my entire life. And I know I have a lot of music listening to do, but I doubt anything will come close to this unless they drop another album that is like crazy, even crazier than this. Cry For Me, my favorite song of the year, as you saw, but like Death and Romance, super fun track. Image, great chorus. What else do we got on this? The outro. Bang bang ordinary. Like the singing, the melodies, the instrumental inclusions, the bass lines on like That's My Floor. The distorted guitars on that hit so hard. Like, you know, I said Whoa was like beat like bricks. This is like album like a brick that like phases through your brain and comes out the other. It's like a holographic brick that's like drops little droplets of drugs. It's like, holy crap. It's a journey. It's nothing short of a journey. It's super sonically rich. Like, and although it's like super cohesive in an album experience, you don't get bored, which is super important in an album, especially I would say this genre of music, because I could see it getting a little bit boring if the songs don't have good progression and they kind of string on for too long. But also they're, again, live instrumentation. I know this isn't a rap album, but just the way they use live instrumentation with electronic program sounds, amazing. Like Tunnel Vision. I showed my dad this album. That was probably his favorite track on the album. Wasn't my favorite first listen, but it grew on me and grew on me and grew on me, and I love it. Yeah. I honestly think I didn't do this justice by giving it a 9.6 out of 10. This low-key might be a 10 out of 10. But have it at a 9.6 right now. But other than that, that is the For the Record songs and albums ranking. Now that we are through, I will go through a few honorable mentions for songs and albums. For songs, I think this dropped in 2024. My sister showed it to me pretty recently because I didn't know that she dropped an extended version, but L'Amour de ma vie, the extended edit of the second of like that little snippet that Billie Eilish had off of her new album. I need the Billie Eilish hyperpop album expeditiously. All right, gonna run through these. The Baddest by Joey Van Bray. Obituary by Ali Evenson, Holy Holy by Jordy Greep, Still in the Paint by Denzel Curry featuring Laserdisc and BK the Ruler, Play Dead by Gene Dawson, One Wish by Raven Lene featuring Childish Gambino, Balloon by Tyler featuring Doechii, All the Way by Saw Baby, No Machine by Adrian Lenker, and Vintage by Moses Sumney. That's songs. And then, like I said, I'll link the albums list in the description. So if you, I'm gonna do like a threshold. I don't want to say too much. I'll start at the 8.2s. All of these albums are either 8.2 or higher. All My Friends Are Dead by Chris Crack, one of the most underrated records of the year. Rich Ass Hasten by Mac Hami. That was one that I kind of crammed at the end of the year. Love Heart Cheat Code by Hiatus Coyote. Maybe in Nirvana by Cineo. Sahim by Saw Baby. Cold Visions by Blade. Absolute Madness by Queef Jerky. Why Laud by No Worries. Blue Super Love by Ali Evenson. And Glimmer of God by Gene Dawson. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. For the record, albums, songs. Hope 2025 is a great year for music. I'll see you in the next video. And we are continuing the grind. Yeah!